I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoke. I want to share with you my experience about starting from scratch, what I experienced. When I sold the hospital with my wife and we came to start this school, we first started just across the express road behind me. You can hear the horns. And we started with 5 pupils, including my last child who is now in Europe. And a lot of people looked down on us. We passed through a lot of challenges. But when we moved to the permanent site that most people come to, and they will say, wow, didn't start like that. When we started with a bungalow. I sold my car to buy the first trip of granite to lay the foundation. And then we started. I thought that my neighbors, people around me, would be the ones that would come to school. But they did not come. And one of them in particular, when they asked her why the children were not attending our school, she said that there were no car owners coming to the school, that people were not bringing their children to school with cars. So she took her children to a school where there were many cars. After very many years, when I receive an insult, it gives me insight, makes me want to prove that person wrong. And so I worked with my wife very hard. I was the school driver. I drove the bus. I cleaned toilets. I did all kinds of things. I carried children on my back. And then cars started coming. We produced good results. Cars started coming. In fact, we had to put a traffic management staff from the government at the junction to my street to control traffic, because in the morning and in the afternoon, morning when school resumes, afternoon when school closes, you will see several cars. And I bought several school buses. Cars. The street is filled with cars and traffic built up. But unfortunately for the husband and herself, a government policy came. I told you, as church people, don't bury your head in your church. Be abreast with new developments. A new policy came that allowed people to gamble through Naira Bed, Baba Ijebu and all that. And then the business the husband was running, which was the coupon business, all these people that play coupons, predict matches and all the draws and all that, fell. His husband would not, if I greeted him in those days, he would not answer me well. He would just look at me like one medical doctor that had missed his track. In fact, he built his house and directed the rain to my property. So when the runoff water, when the rain falls, the water will drain into my property. Then I had not built. And so he told me that it was because I told him that you are draining your water into my property. Very arrogant man, extremely arrogant man. He said that because there was no building there, so the wind was blowing rain into his house. So I took that challenge. I built a 2-story building that overwhelmed his building. Then I sent the same messenger he sent to me, that it was because there was no building there. I told him, I have put a building there, a 2-story building that is taller than his building, and so rain cannot disturb him. He should shorten his roof, so that water will not drain into my property. And he did grudgingly, and he stopped greeting me. He was raising his face and all that. Along the line, a story building came up for sale directly opposite his residence. Then he was broke. This man was so full of himself, impressing our neighbors and the villagers there with money. They now gave him a name, Peperes, that is money. And I remember one of his in-laws described him like the man, as a man who is sunning his money, spreading his money in the sun. And he couldn't buy that building. They went to meet him thinking he would buy it because it was directly opposite him. He couldn't buy it. And I bought the building. Shocked him. I renovated it to world-class standard. And then I noticed that his children were not going to school. Those children who needed to be in the school of people who had cars. So one day I noticed that his wife started selling things to the pupils in my school, the learners in my school, and their parents when they closed from school. And I found out that she was struggling. So I sent my daughter to call the wife, and I asked the wife whether she needed help. She said yes, that if she had some money, her trade would go up. So I gave money to my daughter to give to her, because you have to be very careful when you are helping women, extremely careful. You must have listened to me that I suffer from misogyny. I fear women. You can give that money to that woman, and she can go and tell her husband that you are chasing her, that you are flirting with her. So I gave the money to my daughter. No, I called the husband, gave the money to the husband to give to the wife. And then the husband said, if they told him in his dream that I will do this for him, that he will doubt. He started calling me sir. This was that man that was like a peacock. And then I told him, I noticed your children are not going to school. Bring them to my school free. Let them attend school free. So I gave them scholarship to come to my school free. So they attended for some time. Then the wife told me that their building had been put up for sale because the husband took a loan and could not pay. And that the husband had not slept for 6 months. Slept well for 6 months. I made one phone call and I was able to help him sell the building. And he packed away to another town. And he thanked me profusely, answered me, yes sir, called me his brother and all that. There are lessons here. Number one, when you see somebody starting, particularly an educated man, particularly an experienced man, be very, very careful the way you behave around him. I have an in-law that called me a fake medical doctor, an in-law that lived in my house. And the last time he saw me, I was speaking somewhere as a guest speaker. If I tell you how much they paid me to speak there, he was mesmerized. Another time he saw me, he called me for nearly 1 hour, thanking me for bringing pride to their family. I remember the one whose husband said that it is those who went to school that are now doing cassava and gari. I remember the way she calls me today, the way she celebrates my wife. We're no longer at the same level. When somebody is struggling, particularly a man that serves God and loves God, please be careful. Number 2, don't listen to insults. Face your life, drive your life. What might lift you up might be below you. Bend down and pick it. Don't listen to commentators. Commentators hardly win medals. The African Cup of Nations is on now. All those commentators and the fans and those who boo will not win any medals. It is the players that win medals and win recognition. Even some of them that will lose, clubs will buy them to Europe. So concentrate, play the game of your life. Don't listen to people. Don't listen to insults. They called me that the medical doctor that drives bus. I was driving the school bus. Even when I started this YouTube channel and some of them were seeing me in the farm, they thought I was a suffering man in the farm. They didn't know what I was doing. Just farming on that land has increased the value of the land several 100%. I know what I'm doing. So, then the next thing is that hold on to your belief system. Hold on to your ideologies. Hold on to what the revelation God has given to you that has worked before, that you know is working. When I started this kind of ministry, I was into those budu ministry. The people will fall, will blow breeze into the air, into the microphone, receive it. All of them will fall. My interpreter will fall down. You go and pick the microphone, you will also fall. People will hold me, they will fall. I will throw my shirt over people, they will fall. My son, he fell, throw coat, they fall. But I found out that will not last. It will generate too much controversy and put too much pressure on me. And I had to act on that area where I had comparative advantage, which was my intellect and insight. When I started teaching the things I was teaching, Christians criticized me. Pastors said I was teaching principles that they believe in faith, not principles. They said all kinds of things. When I start with P number 1, patriarchs, P number 2, principles, P number 4, prayers, P number this, they say doctor is teaching rhymes. Some of them even went to hold meetings that they should not invite me to their churches. But today, those things I was preaching, very prominent pastors are now preaching them, right from Yoruba, Lagos, everywhere, they are now preaching them. And these same critics, they are so ashamed to accept the fact that I was the pioneer of some of these things that people are now celebrating. When you come from a minority tribe like mine, you have to do exceedingly well, but you have to have a strong head and a strong heart. People's impression don't affect me, including those very close to me. When I started radio ministry and I was teaching the things I was teaching, my wife felt that I should address youth so that students can come to our school. But I know in my spirit that it is parents that decide to bring children to school. It is the parents that make choices. If the children are to make choices, they must first reach the school compound. So my wife and I ensured that the school compound was beautiful. We have 30 toilets in that building, have one of the best laboratories in this area. And I was addressing the parents and capacity building, youth development. You see, people buy you before they buy your services. So the average parent wanted a school where their child would metamorphose to somebody like me or my children. And the schools have grown exceedingly beyond imagination. I have learned to wait upon the Lord, to anticipate the next thing He's going to do. Wait upon the Lord is not prayer and shouting. It is being a waiter, anticipating the need of your master. I've waited severally to know the need of Jehovah. And when He tells me, I act on them. Your impression is not important. Somebody once said that the impression of 10,000 stupid people is not as important as the impression of one wise man. And so that is what has helped me. When God tells me something, I hear in my spirit man, I have an intuition, an instinct, an inspiration, I act on it. I don't care what you say. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I hope you have learned from this video. If you don't like me, now you sabi. However, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, do. If you want to join my WhatsApp mentorship group, send a message to +2347052136763. There are people from all over the world, I mean all over the world, that are part of this mentorship group. And I have properties for sale. I hope you have learned from this video. If you have done so, also send a message to the comment section and then share this video. God bless you.